What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the importance of healing as a man and really as a person in general, because I'm going to say some things that really anyone can use, but the importance of it as a man is so crucial, and I don't think many people talk about it, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's go ahead and get into it. I feel like this is such a touchy topic because I feel like not a lot of men have the right guidance or really know what to do when it comes to healing, because what we're taught to be is to be, this super soldier, no emotions, no feelings, not validated, right? Whenever you want to feel something, whenever you want to express, you're like, as a man, you should be doing this, right? You shouldn't even be feeling it. Expressing looks weak. Why are you actually becoming emotional, right? And we have all these thoughts. So like, whenever you're actually trying to be vulnerable and trying to be attached to people, that it becomes hard. It becomes very difficult because we're like, we don't know who we can trust. Like, you can talk to your bros, but even then, like, you don't talk about everything because you're like, they already got their own stuff going on, or like, they're supposed to know me as the pick-me-up guy. They're supposed to know me as the athlete. They're supposed to know me as the person that is really working on, their business. They're supposed to know me as this persona that I've given off, but like mentally or physically, I'm weaker, right? But I can't show that to them because then they're not going to look to me as one of their bros. I'm just going to look like a little wuss to them or whatnot. And it's so ironic that like everyone is like, oh, let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about men's mental health. But like that, I don't think that ever really gets resolved. I don't think that really like teaches anything, because a lot of men are in a space where they're like, okay, I want to be better. I want to be able to meet someone I can be vulnerable with. I want to talk to someone, but I don't know who to talk to. So they just stay in their own head. And staying in your own head, especially as a man, is probably the worst place to stay at, because then you end up with your own thoughts, and those just start tracing everywhere. I mean, you're watching this video, like, you understand, like, being in your own head isn't always the best thing to do. And whenever you have that clarity of another person to kind of talk to you and uplift you after, it really helps you with your mental space, because you feel like, okay, I kind of got that off my chest. I feel like I was able to trust someone. I was able to be vulnerable with somebody, but it makes it hard. I think the biggest thing with us trying to be vulnerable with a girl is, do I feel like you can even help me with my problem? I can't tell you what my problems are, but like at the end of the day, I feel like I am going to be the one that's like, okay, are you going to change your problem or not? And with that being said, it leads to more like problem solving, and it's like, if you're not going to be the one that's solving my problems, why do I feel the need to be vulnerable with you? And I think that a lot of the times when it comes to men and they're thinking about that, they're thinking like, if I'm vulnerable with this girl, or if I'm vulnerable with this person, do I feel like they can even help me to get where I want to get to? Like, am I really in a place where I can take in what they're telling me? And so, when it comes to the mental health of a man, it's so crucial and it's so critical, because we be in our own head and our own critic all the time. And if you don't have those people that's going to keep you accountable, if you don't have those people that's going to keep you on track with what you want to go after and what you want to get, then it's going to make it difficult, because you're going to be stuck in your own head and trying to fight your own battles more than being able to pursue what you want to pursue in, right? And I feel like a lot of people fall into two categories. You either fall into the place of destruction and depression, right? Where you're like, man, like, I don't even feel motivated. I feel like everything I do is bad. I feel like I can't get out of bed. It makes it hard for me to want to go out there and get it. I can't really stay focused. I'm always in my head. I'm around the wrong people. I just want to smoke. I just want to smoke my problems away. I want to drink my problems away. And you start coming to this like depressive mindset. Or you're the other person where you're like, yeah, I just want to distract myself, and I want to go to the gym, and I want to get my money up, and I want to get my fitness up, and I want to start, network with other people. I want to go level up, right? Because if I start feeling what I feel, it's going to really wear me down, right? And I feel like a lot of the times people fall into those two categories. You go through pain and you're like, okay, that kind of hurt, but my solution is blank. But many people, they don't really deal with it. which is why people be living on the edge. Something inconvenient happens, something small happens, and they're like, man, I just want to blow up. I just want to be explosive, because everything that I've ever learned about was just bottle it in, you know, keep it inside. Don't worry about telling people, because people are going to use that against you. If you're talking to someone, they're not even going to understand you. If you're talking to someone, they're not going to be able to share that feeling in that event with you. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I don't want people to feel bad for me. I don't want to come to a point where whenever I express it, like, oh my gosh, here he goes again. He's being depressive, and you know, he's being super expressive, and you're supposed to be a man, so you're supposed to be reserved and things like that. I think a lot of people downplay the importance of a man's mental space. Like, I have my days too where I'm like, man, like today's tough, you know, but what am I going to do about it? If I'm going to lay in bed and if I'm going to be getting worse today, then what type of man does that make me? How am I going to be talking about wanting to be better and not doing things that you are doing things that you don't want to do? And then you're the one that's sitting in bed and not going to the gym just because you don't feel like it, sleeping in just because you feel like the bed's so comfortable. Like, what type of man does that make you? And it's like, we're trained that like, it's not about the feelings, it's about the action. Okay, cool. So, you know, as a girl would say, you know, it's not about how much you say it, it's about how much you want to prove it. And so usually words, they come with a lot of feelings, they come with a lot of promises, but the actions are the way to actually prove how much you actually want it, or how much you want to pursue something. And so what we think about is, okay, well, forget the feelings, forget talking, let's just show, and let's prove, you know, the worth, and let's prove the actions that we want to do, which is why we just keep our head down and we keep working. We work more hours. We start working later nights. We start being on the game a little bit more just so we can distract ourselves. We start going to the gym a little bit later. We start, you know, working on us in general. That comes with a lot of self-talk, and it comes with a lot of self-taught things. Like, you start going through life and you're like, yeah, like, you know, maybe better, you know, life is a little bit better if I don't go out and express, and maybe life is a little bit better if I don't go out and show the world like who I really am. But what I would say to you as the man that's watching this video, it's okay to be expressive. It's okay to tell people how you really feel, because a lot of people are actually struggling more than you think that they are. And I think that a lot of people would actually be able to relate to you, especially if you're talking to another man, because they understand this feeling that I'm talking about. So when you come to someone and you're like, oh, well, I want to talk about this, but like, I don't know if they'll actually understand it. I don't know if they'll actually be able to articulate my feelings and my words of how I want to say what I want to say. Understand that like, people are going through what you're going through. And if no one's going through your exact moment or your exact feeling, that they can still relate in other scenarios, you know? And it's okay to be expressive as a man. I feel like society nowadays is like, shh, you know, men need to be quiet. What I like to say is, if you're a bottle, like your emotions is like a bottle of soda. Every time you don't want to talk about something, you're just like dropping in a Mento, right? You're like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep that bottled up. And over time, eventually that is going to erupt. And eventually you're going to come to a place where you're like, I don't know who I am. I don't know why I'm so destructive. I don't know why I'm so expressive over minimal things. And so learn how to grow out of that, and learn how to be able to find people that you can actually talk to. If you need to get a therapist, talk to a therapist. You know what I'm saying? If you need to gain relationship with God, gain your relationship with God. But eventually you need to learn how to express, and it's okay to do that. And if you feel like you can't express, then you need to change up the circle that you're around. That's the key thing. I really want to reach out to all the young men, you know, that are out here and they're struggling mentally, and they're really trying to find their way and find a person that they can really express to and who they can talk to. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to talk to people. You know, it's not illegal. It's not, you know, you're not going to get canceled for you trying to be emotionally. You're not going to get canceled for you trying to be emotional. You know, you're going to be like a human like everyone else. My bad, y'all. The camera had died. But like I was saying, I think that it's so crucial as a man to be able to understand what it looks like to heal. Because I think that with so many men going through life, there's so many things that ends up giving them pain that they don't know how to release, that they don't know how to express, right? And so over time, like I was saying with the Mentos and the soda, you start adding in things, you know, that's going to add up. And eventually your bottle's going to blow. You're going to come across a situation, a person that you just never healed from before. And all of a sudden it's going to come out and they're like, where did that come from? I think that analyzing why you feel a way is so critical, because people can feel stuff all the time, right? But they don't understand where it's actually coming from. Be like, man, I'm so scared of heights. And it's like, okay, well, why are you actually scared of heights? Like, you're not scared of the height itself? Are you scared of death? Is this like because It's a traumatic experience? Is it because of what you're afraid of? Like what could go wrong? Like what are we actually afraid of when it comes to that? And I think that diving deeper than just the fear of blank actually gives you more power in understanding yourself. Like, why do I not want to express about this? Why do I feel like this is such a sensitive topic? Because when I feel like this, then I start feeling this type of anger, and I start feeling this type of frustration. I start feeling this type of pain that it really gives me over time. Like, where is that really stemming from? And many men don't know what it looks like to really get through that. So like I was saying, I recommend to the men out there, be in a place where you can be able to be vulnerable with people that can actually accept your vulnerability. Or if you feel like you just can't trust people and it comes to a point where you're like, I don't want to talk to anyone, understand why is that about yourself? Do you feel like it's abandonment? Does it feel like you can't trust people? Is it because of what society tells you? Like, self-evaluate why you feel like you can't open up to people. If you're at a church and you want to go talk to your pastor, if you feel like you can't even talk to your dad, if you feel like you can't even talk to your youth group leader, you can't even talk to your coach, then why is it that you're expecting true healing over time when you can't even express it to people that you want to talk to? For me personally, that's why I always resort back to God, because like God will show you and God will give you the people that you actually need to help you start healing. You're like, man, this person came in at a perfect timing in my life to where they were actually able to heal my mentality. They were able to heal my spiritual side. And it's not just coincidence, right? Because God will send people in your life for different purposes. And you have to realize that. So as much as a person comes in and it feels too good to be true, or man, I just feel like I could really connect with this person, I feel like I could really talk to this person, like, why is that? And why do you feel like it's such a setup of a situation to where it's too good to be true? And I think that when you actually start trusting that God is going to be the person that's going to guide you in your life, he's going to be the person that can ultimately heal you. He can be the person that can actually take you from pain and put that type of healthy reassurance into you. When you start understanding that, then you start thinking about life differently. You start looking at life a little bit differently, because you're like, this just isn't coincidence. Like, God definitely had to put you in my life, or had to put this situation in my life for me to understand blank. So what is he actually trying to show me? Because it's a lot deeper than just, I feel like this about this situation. Why do I feel like this about this situation? And how do I move forward with that? To my people that don't really believe in God and believe in miracles and things like that, I want you to really evaluate your life and think about it. Like, how do I really get here without miracles, without coincidences that just happened, right? That just worked out in my life. Like, really think about these things and think about how God has already been in your life and moving around without you even realizing it. Understand that when you're healing and you're going through a phase of your life where you need to heal, you have to realize that the source isn't always going to be in other people. The source won't always be in just yourself. And so ultimately, when you're healing and you're trying to understand yourself, the biggest thing I would say is find God, because he's already at the door just waiting on you. Put yourself in a position where you start understanding that God really wants to gain that connection with you. And sometimes he will take things away from you so that he can have that connection with you. Even though it sucks, that's how it is sometimes. And so don't go and be like, God, like, why would you do this to me? Blame. Kind of evaluate yourself and be like, maybe I did need that to happen, because now blank, right? That's just a couple tips that I have. I would say be around people that can actually motivate and to be able to bring out that sensitive side in you, to where you can feel vulnerable to actually talk about what you want to talk about. Definitely look at my other video. I talked about communication, how to communicate with people about what it is that you're actually feeling. I'll put that in the comment below. But definitely check out that video, because it's also going to teach you about how to actually express yourself, how to actually find a way of communicating what it is that you're feeling in a correct and respectable way, without you just, kind of crying after every conversation, or without you having to yell and scream for someone to hear you. So definitely check out that video. I'm going to put it in the comment section below. But like I said, learn how to be around those people. Learn to self-evaluate what it is that you're actually feeling. And most of all, learn that you'll find healing with God. Gain that relationship and start growing in that relationship, and watch how much you actually heal. So those are just some key things that I think that would be really good, especially for a man, to learn how to start healing and where to even start in that journey. That's all I really got for y'all. So like, comment, and share this video with someone that you know that really needs it. And until then, I'm gone.